introduce to you mental health expert, author, coach extraordinaire, Dr. Peace Amadi.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's really, really good to be here with you. I'm actually very honored to be taking part of UIU this year. And of course, mental health is my absolute favorite topic to talk about. So I'm glad to share this time with you guys for just a few minutes. Okay, got that little, cool, thank you guys. Just a little bit about me. Our wonderful moderator already said a bit, but I am a professor of psychology at Hope International University in Southern California, teaching everything from child psych and social psych to media psych, psychology and law, psychology and religion, all really fun classes. And I am indeed a coach and an author. I'm actually very excited to share that my first book is coming out, slated to be released in April 2021. And this is relevant because it's called Why Do I Feel Like This? And it's all about helping people understand and move through some of their more difficult emotions like discouragement and grief and hurt and trauma and things that we all go through. But I'm very mindfully and intentionally writing it as not only a person of faith, but a Black person by race and a Nigerian person by heritage, as faith and culture certainly do impact our relationship with mental health. So that's coming out in April, and you can, if you stay connected with me, you'll be the first to know when it drops. But speaking of books, I'm also the co-author of a children's book that I wrote with my sister Amadi, who is on the UIU planning committee. And that's called Chi-Chi and Didi Love Their Names. And it is based on growing up as sisters, as Nigerian American sisters. I see, thanks, Jessica. This first book is about cultural identity and really embracing our names, and how that got a little bit hard because people couldn't pronounce our names, but we found the pride in our names and embrace that. And we hope that the book is a first of actually a series dedicated to culture, where we'll be able to teach life lessons to our kiddies. So that first book is on Amazon. And again, if you stay connected with us, you'll know when those other ones drop. So I do these things, I do a lot of different things, but at the heart of it all is really the passion for personal growth and healing. This is what I understand to be my calling and my purpose. And of course, I'm particularly invested in the health and healing of my own people, my Naija community. That's what fills me with joy and gratitude to be here with you guys this morning. So let's go ahead and jump in. I wanted to use our short time to kind of talk just about a few things. It goes without saying that we're living in a very chaotic and unpredictable and tense time right now, right, globally. And for this reason, I believe it is crucial that we are paying extra attention and taking extra care of our mental health, as well as the mental health of our loved ones. Now, I've found with talks like this that it's been helpful to begin with sort of a crash course in mental health language, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And so I do want to start there with this crash course, that's what I'm calling it, specifically talking about emotional wellness next, and then doing an exercise with you guys that I think will be helpful for this objective. So what do I mean by mental health? Again, I'm sure we all have an intuitive understanding of what this is, but just so we're on the same page and for the sake of clarity, by definition, mental health is a state of being. And do, kind of drop some notes in the chat. I'm not going to make you like take notes, but if you drop, the stuff that sticks out to you in the chat, I think it'll help you digest it that much more. So anything I say that's like, I want to remember that, go ahead and drop that in the chat. So again, mental health is a state of being. So it isn't something you have or don't have, it just is. Okay, we all have mental health. It's a state of being that encompasses how we're thinking and we're processing and we're dealing with life and coping and feeling and behaving. All of that is inclusive in mental health. Now, additionally, our mental health at any given time is in one general state or another. Yeah, so just like our physical health, we can be at our mental health will be at one state or another because it's a state of being. So some of us are at peak mental health right now. Some of us are struggling a bit or even a great deal. And a lot of us, especially given these very chaotic times, are somewhere in between, right? And that's okay, because that's what it means to be human, right? No one is 100% all the time, mentally or physically. So my first kind of check-in point for you is, where do you think you are right now mentally? If 10 is the most mentally healthy you've ever been in your life, and you know what that feels like, because you're really fulfilled, you're happy, you're free, you know, you're living your best life, your relationships are thriving, you're creating, you're productive, you're effective. That would be our 10. And 1 would be the least. Where would you fall right now? Okay, that's my personal check-in for you. Where would you fall right now? If 10 is the best you've ever been and 1 is the lowest you've ever been, you know, how would you rate yourself? I see some people chiming in 7s, 9s, 8s. Okay, so we're doing generally well. Okay, so we got some resilient people. So we're not at our best. I wonder if anyone is under a 5. Don't be afraid to share. Okay, some 6s, some 8s. Okay, so I saw a 5. Okay, so I love this because it's showing kind of we're all at different places, and this can be a really, really important question, or it is an important question, because it helps you check in with yourself. And when you realize that you are kind of falling in that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 range, that it's time to do something about that. So that's mental health. Thank you guys for chiming in. I love that. Now, what about emotional health? That's closely related. Emotional health is part of our mental health, but I do like to parse it out for the sake of discussion and really look at how crucial it is to pay attention to our emotions specifically. So whereas mental health is inclusive of how we think and feel and act, emotional health is a person's ability to accept and manage their feelings through their daily challenges and change. I don't know how well you guys feel like you're doing with that specifically. But an emotionally healthy person practices responses to daily hassles rather than reactions. And there's a difference there, responses versus reactions. If you think about it, responses are controlled, right? They're thought out, they're methodical, they're systematic. Okay, they tend to be calmer, not void of emotion, but they're more controlled. Whereas reactions are not. I love that. Responses versus reactions, okay? So an emotionally healthy person is more responsive to their environment, whereas a less emotionally healthy person is more reactive to their environment. So you want to be thinking about, where are you falling right now? Where do you typically fall? And then in addition to that, 3 S's and 2 E's here. An emotionally healthy person is characterized by self-awareness, self-acceptance of whatever it is they've become aware of, self-care, doing what they need to do to manage their emotions in a healthy way. And then here are my 2 E's, emotional responsiveness. So not just to the environment, but to the people in their lives. Because when you're able to accept and take care of your own emotions, you can do that well for others. So that seems to be a missing piece for a lot of people, and kind of a telltale sign that you're not doing emotionally well personally, because you're not responsible and responsive to the people in your lives. You're not sensitive, you're not empathic, okay, you're not you're not responsible, you're not honorable when it comes to your loved ones and dealing with their emotions. So this is also about how we deal with other people's emotions as well. And that last E would be emotional agility. So life, again, is chaotic. This is not the first time that, the world has kind of gone in shambles, but it's a unique time. It's the first time in a while that things have been this bad, I would say. So we're kind of riding these waves of life, and the ability to kind of ride the waves of life is emotional agility. So we can do this without getting stuck or stalled or stunted, but also without becoming defensive and violent and aggressive. And there's no shame here, okay? So it doesn't mean that if you're struggling with this, that you're a bad person. It just means you probably need to look at your emotional health and then the big picture mental health. So there's a lot of implications for how we deal with our emotions specifically, like not only is our ability to handle our emotions affecting big picture mental health. Thank you, Angela. I'm glad you needed to hear this. Big picture mental health, but emotions specifically and by themselves are affecting our work, our career, our relationships, our friendships, our productivity, our creativity. It affects a lot, you all. And I think in our culture, it's gone a little bit unnoticed and a little bit underappreciated, which again is why I'm really passionate about talking about this, because it's important. It affects all these areas in our lives. And I believe the theme of this conference is, you know, let them see us. And there's all these different ways, you know, that we want to be seen, and we want to inject ourselves into the world, which is powerful, but let them see us healthy too. Let them see us mentally and emotionally healthy as well. That all matters. Third of the four definitions that I want to get into: mental illness. So again, I know that you guys all know what these mean intuitively, but I just want us to be crystal clear. Mental illness is different from mental health, okay? We don't all currently have a mental illness. That's obvious, okay? Although the likelihood that we will battle a mental illness at one point in our lives, be it an anxiety-related disorder like generalized anxiety, or what would be another one, social phobia, social anxiety disorder, which is kind of off the charts right now. Any of those, or major depression or bipolar disorder, it is my clinical opinion, as well as most mental health professionals' clinical opinion, and I hope this isn't too controversial, that Kanye West is actually showing a lot of signs of struggling with bipolar disorder. So if you follow him closely and you're looking at, you know, kind of what he's going through, doesn't take anything away from his creativity and brilliance and intelligence and ability to take care of his family or any of that. But if you know a little bit about mental health and a little bit about bipolar, it's probably easy. You're probably picking up on that. And it's just, again, it's a normal part of life. We struggle at different parts of our life. So where was I going with that? The likelihood that we will battle with an illness at one point in our lives, or be in a relationship with someone who is battling a mental illness, or someone who is showing disordered traits like borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder. It's another person that we can talk about that is showing telltale signs of narcissistic personality disorder. It's the highest we've ever been before. The likelihood of struggling and being in a relationship with someone who's struggling is the highest it's ever been before. And that is just indicative of our times, what we're living in, the chaos, the division. I think Michelle Obama just shared, I think just yesterday, that she's dealing with low-grade depression, and part of what's going on in the world. So, I mean, if Michelle Obama, with everything that she has and the wonderful husband she has and life she has and platform she has, you know, can be dealing with depression, you know, why can't we? I always say that depression and anxiety and mental illness in general is an equal opportunist. Okay, just because we're Naija people, or just because we're people of faith, those of us who are, doesn't mean that we won't struggle at one point in time. So we want to be watchful. Okay, we want to be knowledgeable. We want to take advantage of opportunities to learn about mental health and illness, such as this time that I'm sharing with you, so that when struggles start to show up and deepen in our lives, we can be proactive about our health and our healing. Starts with education, yes, indeedy. So the last term before we switch gears, I'm watching my time here, okay. Wellness, okay, so this is a term that's thrown around a bunch, and I do want to clarify this idea as well. When we talk about wellness, we're ultimately talking about an activity, okay? So wellness is a result of active choices we're making toward a more successful existence. Again, wellness is a result of active choices we're making towards a more successful existence. So if mental health is a state of being, wellness is a state of actually living and choosing to live a healthy lifestyle, okay? Active choices, yes. Yes. I love what I'm seeing in the chat. So there are actually eight dimensions of wellness that have been identified by researchers. If I was sitting with you guys, I would have kind of given you all worksheets to go home with. Maybe I'll share resources with the team that they can send with you guys, send to you afterwards. I don't have the time to go into examples of all of these right now, so I'll just list them out. But the dimensions are physical, so, you know, diet, nutrition, fitness; emotional, which I'm going to come back to; intellectual, finding ways to expand our knowledge, recognizing and leaning into our creative abilities. That's actually really, really important for a successful existence and for mental health. Social, developing a sense of connection and belonging. And I think this one is being tried a lot right now because of social distancing and, you know, just not being able to hug everyone that we want to hug, or being able to be in natural settings that give us joy and life. So that one's probably being threatened, but we're doing the best we can. I love that UIU still chose to have this conference this year, even if by Zoom, because any way we can create time to an opportunity to connect socially and develop and connect and feel like we belong somewhere, it's crucial. And honestly, my research shows that that's probably that loneliness specifically is one of the biggest risk factors for depression and specifically suicide. So we, you know, typically, especially in like the medical space, and this is absolutely not wrong, you know, there's a lot of attention to what's going on physiologically, you know, neurochemistry that's off in balance when it comes to depression. But what recent research is showing is that it's the social factors that are actually doing as much, if not more harm when it comes to falling into depression and unfortunately, you know, dying by suicide, lack of connection, lack of belonging, loneliness. The other dimensions would be spiritual, vocational, financial, and environmental. And again, I'll try and see if I can send something to you guys, but for the sake of time, I do want to move on. But all of these areas are areas in our life that demand attention and need some intentional, tender love and care, some TLC, should we want to live an optimal life. And as a fellow Nigerian, it's my hope and desire and literally my plea that we begin to make good choices, better choices, not just about our families and our marriages and our goals and aspirations and our businesses, but about our mental and emotional health. Because this is what's going to give us longevity, right? This is what's going to give us a chance to really survive and thrive the chaos and the craziness in our lives. This is what's going to make it so that in pursuit of all these beautiful things and beautiful goals, we're not sacrificing our own lives or our own health or our relationships. I see too much people trying to get ahead and sacrificing themselves and the people they love and the people that love them. And I don't think it needs to be that way. I think all of it can happen. All of it should be able to happen if we're intentional. So it's these wellness practices that help mitigate that space, right, between optimal mental health and mental illness. And if we happen to develop a mental illness, it's these wellness practices that will help mitigate how extreme and how severe those are. So, oh, thank you. This is a rich session. Thank you, guys. So crash course done. Got, yes, just under 15 minutes. So just enough time to shift into the exercise. Ooh, that fell off. Give me 1 second, so I want to use an exercise to increase one key feature of wellness, and that is the practice of emotional awareness, okay? Emotional awareness. Now, this is a part of the broader mental health conversation I'm extremely passionate about teaching, and more significantly, it's the area that I see a lot of room for growth and learning in our culture that I know we all love. So emotional awareness begins with uncovering some of the beliefs that we have about emotions in the first place. And I use the word uncovering intentionally because many of the beliefs that we hold about our emotions aren't beliefs that we're super aware of. You know, we just kind of do life with these beliefs, but they've never been checked. They've never been held up to the light. They've never been contradicted within ourselves, though they should be, because they are not serving us in any way. And a lot of these beliefs actually have to do with the acceptability of our emotions, the degree to which we believe that experiencing and expressing negative emotions is actually okay. So think for a second, you know, do we believe as a culture, individually, that feeling sadness is okay? Do we believe as a culture and individually that experiencing hurt and disappointment is okay? Do we believe grief, you know, beyond a day or two is okay? Okay, loneliness, anger, doubt, and uncertainty, specifically around things that we have held on to our whole lives. Are we okay with doubting our beliefs? Okay, those of us who are people of faith, are we okay in spaces and times of uncertainty? It's healthy, okay? It's important, it's crucial to be okay and to accept not being okay. But are we, okay? Yes, Daniel, exactly. It's okay. It's okay to feel sad. Emotions and feelings are natural. Absolutely. So you guys got this. This is what we got to keep perpetuating in our culture. Because when we don't give ourselves permission to feel these things, when we don't give ourselves space to learn the tools to express these things well, we can't get our needs met. Okay. And that's when we open the door to real and true mental health difficulties like depression and anxiety. When we don't give ourselves the space to feel and express and to really deal. And I always say, you can't heal what you don't confront. Okay, you can't heal what you don't confront. And if you do struggle, I do want you to have self-compassion, because research has shown that growing up in an environment where the expression of feelings or challenges was met with lack of sympathy or indifference or even punishment is the primary reason why someone would develop feelings of unacceptability. And my guess is that a lot of us, okay, have grown up to varying degrees of how acceptable, difficult, and vulnerable and hard emotions and challenges were. And I don't think that's unique to Nigerian culture, but I think we need to have a real conversation about that and how that's affected us now. So here's the exercise that I want to leave us with. It's going to take us a few minutes. It'll take us right to the end of my time. It's going to give us a chance to identify some of the beliefs that aren't serving our mental health so that we can begin to change them. That's the whole point, because without awareness, okay, we can't begin to change the things that we need to change. Okay, so that's why in any like therapy session or psychoeducational session or workshop, it should always start with an awareness piece, because what are you fixing if you're not even aware what needs to be fixed, right? So I want you guys all to go ahead and get comfortable if you aren't already, and just kind of quiet your mind for a second. Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything crazy or woo-woo. Okay, I'm just going to ask you a few questions. And in this moment, I want you to bring to mind a difficult emotion to work with. Okay, so maybe it's an emotion you're feeling right now, or one you felt yesterday or earlier this week or this month. Okay, perhaps it's anxiety or sadness or worry or loneliness. Whatever it is, I want you to bring it to mind. And I'm going to give you like 3 seconds to do that. Okay. And now I'm going to read you a list of some common but false beliefs. I'm going to read you 15, or maybe just the first 10, just for the sake of time. I'm going to read you 10. And as I read them, I want you to listen for the ones that resonate with you. So literally just count them in your head as we go. Okay? Okay. Belief number 1. If I let myself feel this emotion, I will become overwhelmed by it. Okay? You're just counting which ones resonate with you. 2, if I lose control of my emotions in front of others, they will think less of me. 3, other people don't feel this way. There must be something wrong with me. 4, only an immature person would get so emotional. 5, I should be able to cope with difficulties on my own without turning to others for support. 6, this emotional state is not a normal response. I have to get rid of it. 7, a happy person would not feel this way. 8, that person responded differently than I did. Therefore, my emotional reaction is wrong. 9, if I let myself feel this pain, it will kill me. 10, letting myself feel bad means I'm wallowing in self-pity. I actually am going to read the next 5 just a little quicker. 11, I can't show signs of weakness. 12, being an adult means not getting carried away by emotion. 13, I need to think rationally all the time. 14, I can't feel this way. I should just suck it up. 15, I can't let myself give in to these feelings. Okay, so that was the end of the list. And in conclusion, I want to leave you with 2 questions. So first of all, and maybe you can pop in the chat really quick, how many of those did you resonate with? A few, about half, almost all, okay, a lot, 2, 7, a few, okay, deep thinking, cool. So here's my last question for you. What has been, okay, thank you guys for chiming in, I see, okay, yeah. If you have at least one, let's start unlearning that one. So my last question to leave you with is, what has been the consequence of holding these beliefs, okay? What has been the impact of these beliefs on how you feel, on how you behave, on how you talk to yourself? What has been the impact on your relationship with your parents or family or siblings, with your marriage, your dating life, your relationships? What has been the impact of these beliefs on your work, business, or pursuit of your dreams? Really reflect on this, discuss this with who it's appropriate, figure out if there's really evidence for these beliefs. Maybe there was evidence for you to need to believe these in childhood, but they no longer exist in adulthood. Okay, they're no longer serving you in adulthood. Or if they're still operating in adulthood, maybe that's an environment you don't need to be in. Okay, maybe that's an environment you need to excuse yourself so that you can thrive. Okay, so reflect, challenge those beliefs, decide to get rid of the ones that are no longer serving you. All right, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Peace, for that rich and insightful presentation. I hope everyone took something away that you all can apply to your lives. Again, Doctor, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
you
for having me.
Ha Hu Anyi. Let them see us. Thank you so much.